the work that you have historically done before Veritas, during Veritas, and now after, they say is proprietary to Project Veritas. Mm-hmm. So what's going on in your words?
Ooh.
How's life?
How's life? That's a macro question. May I take a couple minutes to just say a few things?
Oh yeah, say whatever you want. Grab that microphone.
Monologue it maybe.
There you
go. Let me just tell you a story. How about that? And I'll end with the answer to your question. I've been doing this for about 15 years. I started in college, so I guess that's probably more like 20 years. But in a major way, 15 years. And along the way, I have been, there's been a lot of arrows sent my way and at my team, because when you're the tip of the spear, you just get a lot of flack, right? I think we all know that. And then maybe these days it's directly proportional to the amount of flack you get. But I mean, I have been, way back when I received a letter from Planned Parenthood threatening to jail me for working with Lila in California because of the statute 632 of the Penal Code. I did the Acorn story with Andrew Breitbart, Hannah Giles. They sued me for recording in Maryland. I had to raise money to pay lawyers. I was arrested by the FBI in January of 2010, falsely accused. They said I entered under false pretense, even though I showed my ID. I spent 3 years on federal probation. And it is while I was on federal probation that I founded Project Veritas in a garage with like no money, credit card debt, negative equity. It was against all odds. And while on federal probation, starting that company, I was sent criminal grand jury subpoenas by the state of New Hampshire in 2011, 2012 for exposés in New Hampshire. I was sued countless times for defamation, including one by Shirley Teeter. I won that in federal district court at jury verdict, and nobody reported on it. I mean, I could go on and on with the amount of flack and arrows that my colleagues and I have taken. There was one story where I was chased down the highway by a teachers union official in New Jersey, chased down the highway. So now they run away from me, but back then they followed me on Interstate 80 in New Jersey. Alyssa Ploshnik was her name. And all the defamation that almost makes you want to just say, I can't do this anymore, particularly if you're sane and rational. And I could go on, and I don't say these things to come across like I'm a victim. That's not what I'm getting at. I love what I do. I'm passionate about it. I say it because of the human aspects of it. It's different. It's different when you're taking on all these arrows. It hits differently when the arrows come from the people that are ostensibly supposed to be your allies. I've taken a lot of arrows. I never thought I'd be taking them in the back. It just feels different. There's a great article by Dr. Malone, which I want to talk about with you. We'll talk about that later. But I want to say that I agree with you, Tim, that I feel untethered. I think you said this back in, I think it was March or April.
Yeah.
I feel free. After Jobs was fired from Apple, he said, I entered one of the most creative periods of my life. I didn't have the weights that buried me down. In many ways, this is a blessing. So I feel liberated. I'm very excited about what I'm doing. I've got 1,100 people on a CRM, citizen journalists around the country.
Wow.
And I'm dispatching them. That's something that I wasn't doing previously. So I'm very inspired. I'm very hopeful. And I've decided to kind of take the high road here. I think I need to do that for myself. This is I'm still going through this, whatever this is, and I'm learning about human nature. And of all the things I've learned, I probably learned mostly about like board maintenance. I didn't really, most people don't realize 501c3s are run by boards. They're not owned by anybody, and that creates its own issues. And I never really paid attention to that part of it. I ran Project Veritas like I was the owner, even though I wasn't. I took responsibility for everything. So it's difficult to watch your own creation and lifeblood attack you. And I've moved on because that's what I've been asked to do. So we're in a very strange situation in space and time right now, and there's a lot to unpack. But that's in a nutshell where we are.